Welcome again into Strategies for Living, the television version. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Delighted that you've tuned in and joined with me today because one of my very favorite folks is here as our life strategist, Dr. Ronald Key. Welcome back to Strategies.
Good morning,
Dr.
David.
Key.
Good morning. Now, the only reason you say I'm one of your favorite folks, I know where the skeletons are.
Well, yes, you do.
Yeah.
And I'll pay you later.
Okay.
You and I go back a long ways, but I'm so proud of you and the work that you have done in these last years. Woody's Home for Veterans.
Thank you, David.
What a mission. The mission of Woody's is to provide a stable home environment to veterans in need of continued psychiatric care. And I remember back many years ago, I think you and I were doing a radio program. And you shared,
that's back in the 90s.
And you shared this vision with me. And quite honestly, I thought, oh.
There he goes again.
I really thought, okay, I knew you were coming from your heart, but I said, that'll never happen. And then the first home opened. And now the second home is open. And we're talking about the third home now.
And that's the focus of today's program. We've been blessed. This is nothing I did other than was a vehicle for what needed to be done, because some extraordinary things have happened as far as things falling in place, people coming into my life like Jim, that every time things look, I get discouraged.
Yeah.
God provides.
Yeah. And let's bring in Jim Roach. Jim, some people will know him. He's been in several of our homes, probably under our sinks.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Jim, you are the chairman, co-chairman of Woody's Home for Veterans Sporting Clay event coming up Saturday, September the 26th.
At
Gonna
Las
shoot some
Palomas.
clay pigeons, huh?
Sporting clays is Las Palomas. It's a really fine facility that they have there that we picked to have this function, to be able to raise awareness and also to be able to raise money for Doc here for what the great job he's doing for our veterans that are homeless, and which some of them are called rejects and throwaways because they don't have a home and can't get their benefits.
Yeah.
He provides home and benefits and medical attention.
Las Paloma Sporting Range is in Benton, Louisiana, right?
Off 7 Pines Road.
7 Pines Road, Benton, Louisiana. We'll talk about that. What do you remember when you dreamed up all those many years ago when this idea came to you? Did it get downloaded, or is this something that you had wanted to do for years, or what's the deal?
The short story is, when Daddy died in '97, I met two guys at his viewing, which is Baptist for the funeral home. They came through the line, shook my hand, said, "You must be Ronnie," and I haven't been called that since I was...
Little bitty.
Yeah. And said, "Your dad was a fine soldier," which I understand that's the greatest compliment you can get, soldier to soldier. And he talked often of it. My mom and my brother and I went home. Mom was still living then. And I said, "Who were those guys?" They had no idea. So for 52 years, they had stayed in touch. So that was an initial desire to do something in Daddy's memory. New Year's Day of 2000, I had a heart attack. That's when you know you're being spoken to, you know.
Yeah.
And I had been blessed, and I wanted to give something back. And then I saw Dr. Dean Robinson at a meeting, so things just, I said, Dean, I said, what
Dean is a psychiatrist. At that point, he was in charge of the,
he was the
chair of psychiatry at the VA Med Center.
Yeah, and now he's chair at New Orleans,
Right.
the new VA. But
A lot of people remember Dean
Yeah.
Robinson from around here.
Yeah.
I remember him from Jesuit High School back in the day.
Wow, that's when you had brown hair.
That's when I had brown hair.
Yeah.
At least I still have
Yeah,
some.
that's right.
Yeah.
But the nearest community residential center, what we call, is an hour away. So for their day programs, if they happen, the conditions escalated, or they had a regular appointment, you're talking 2 hours round trip. Well, as you know, with, say, schizophrenia, bipolar, PTSD, if someone escalates, it's not pretty. And
Right.
to get someone transported, they had to call the police instead of get them there. We're 1.1 miles, so our guys can go to day programs, any support programs. The VA can come into the home and provide services, anything from hospice to just some follow-up care.
Right.
So it was things laid out that just fell in place.
How many, now, Woody's Home for Veterans is, it's a home of last resort because many of these guys that live at the home, I don't want to misspeak, but I think I'm saying it correctly. It's truly a home for them, but if it wasn't for Woody's, many of them would not have any place to lay their head. Is that right?
Yeah, many of our guys have either come from the street or been on the street. And as you know, with government entities, the process just to get benefits is long
And arduous, yeah.
And then typically with the VA, you have to go through so many programs before, or fail those programs before you qualify
Right.
for a community residential center. And we are the last house on the block. So it's institutionalization, being institutionalized, or back on the street.
Did I don't know where I read or saw 58,000 nights so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Lodging,
something.
that's a lot of nights.
That's a lot of lodging. Now, the first home opened,
We opened June of '03 and admitted our first patient in August of '03.
all right, and that home filled up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that you're proud, we're both mental health professionals. We don't make as much money as plumbers.
Oh, no.
But,
Not near. He's the smart one.
He's the smart one among us.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just threw around schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. We need to let people know that in many cases, these are chronic.
Oh, yeah.
They're not in many cases.
One of the-
These are chronic
Yeah, the
conditions.
criteria to meet through the VA for admission to a CRC has to be chronic mental illness, has to be the initial diagnosis. Then it can be physical, it could be substance abuse or whatever.
Okay, so, and in many cases, when you have someone with bipolar disorder, or they have schizophrenia, this chronic condition, you have a comorbid alcoholism or drug addiction
50%.
problem.
Yeah.
And
Active or past.
And
yeah.
in many cases, what happens is through the years, these guys may start out with a good support system, but through the years they wear their families out. And in many cases, when they get to Woody's, there just really isn't anyone.
Yeah.
Am I overspeaking that?
No, well, with families, they fall into three categories. Either they don't have it, or their family no longer can handle them. And sometimes no longer can handle them. It could be the condition of the client, or it could be the age of the parents.
The
trying to
aging,
take-
yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then the third one, which is the saddest, is they got into the system, but the family didn't make them comply with the medications, whatever, or took the checks. And all three pretty much come from one of those. We have some, the majority don't have families that come by and see them, but we have some that still do, and it falls into that category of couldn't handle them or they're too aged to take care of them.
Okay. How many residents in home number one?
Right now, we're 9 in home number 1
Okay.
and 7 in home 2,
Okay.
and we only got 9 beds in home 2.
Okay. So you're at over 90%
90%,
capacity.
yeah.
then. So that means home number 3 needs to come on board pretty quick.
Yes, our choice, David, and you know, having been contracted with hospitals, if you got 2 empty beds, that doesn't mean you cannot fill them. It might be an upstairs bed, and you've got somebody that's non-ambulatory,
Right.
or you may be holding a bed for someone who's disabled that you don't put, a regular client that is disabled-bodied in. So there's never a perfect match, but our choice is to go build another house or make a waiting list. And in my opinion, a waiting list is just a kind way of telling your family, we'll put them on a waiting list.
Yeah.
But knowing, in fact, there's not going to be another bed.
Not going to be a room for you
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jim, you came on board as the co-chair because you've done several of these sporting clay events for other important nonprofits and causes in the area. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. I've done some cancer fundraisers, sporting clay events. My best friend 2 years ago died, named Connie McBoykin. and we had one called the One Man Can Make a Difference, prostate cancer, which all the money was totally donated. We gave it to Tulane University to Dr. Sorter.
Fantastic.
I got involved with that, and a friend of Doc's here called me and just told me one day, this is how I got involved in this. He says, you need to ride by over on Jordan Street and see me. I'm cooking chicken. I want you to see something. And I said, all right. So I did. It was Carol Copeland. And when I went there to eat a piece of chicken, it was a setup.
I had nothing to do with it.
Chicken will get you any place.
Chicken cost me some dollars.
Barbecue chicken will get you any place. Remember that, folks, if you need a good guy.
Yeah, and if we bring out the ribs, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, you're in real trouble.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
The
Jeff.
whole thing was, I sat there and Carol said, I want you to walk around. I want you to look at these people that are out here working. And I started walking around. It was some of the veterans that were there. And I got to talk to them, and one of them came to me and told me, he says, you know, this is my home. This is the only home I got. If it wasn't for Doc, I wouldn't have a home.
Yeah,
Put me in.
yeah, you were there.
I'm in. You need to go to Jordan Street if you get an opportunity. Look at the facility and see what they're doing for your veterans.
I can tell from just your voice how touched, and
Oh,
you're still remembering and still touched by what you saw at Woody's that first time.
Yeah, I try not to show emotion, but I'm not real good at it.
That's okay. If you have anything to do with Woody's Home for Veterans, you won't be good at holding back your emotion either. Dr. Ron Key, Jim Roach, our life strategist today. We're talking Woody's Home for Veterans, the Sporting Clay event coming up Saturday, September 26th. We're going to talk about it more with these guys when we come back here on Strategies for Living. We'll be right back.
Bossier Parish Community College, the fastest growing community college in the nation. Wonder why?
We at the Bossier Chamber of Commerce value our partnership with Bossier Parish Community College as an educator and a trainer for the local business industry. Together, we will help Northwest Louisiana grow.
And BIPSI's nursing program educates students for the workforce.
Our state-of-the-art lab has allowed us to get hands-on experience with real-life case studies. As a graduate, I was able to find a job right after graduation.
Check us out. You'll understand why.
I'm 5'11", barely 5'4".
I weigh about 170 pounds.
Brown eyes. Blue eyes.
Brown hair.
Gray hair.
I'm a baseball fanatic.
I'm a wife.
A mom.
A sister.
And a grandfather.
I'm a bodybuilder.
I'm a research analyst.
Small business owner.
Teacher.
Dance fitness instructor.
Film and television actor.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a copywriter.
I'm a veteran.
I have a prosthetic leg.
I have multiple sclerosis.
I have lupus.
Cerebral palsy.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
I love because I was given a chance.
Because I was given a chance.
To contribute my skills and talents.
To show my disability is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
Who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters.
For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Founded in 1877, the American Humane Association has been dedicated to the idea that all animals, including those raised on our farms and ranches, are entitled to humane treatment. Today, animals on nearly 8,000 farms enjoy a better quality of life because of the ethical, science-based standards established by the American Humane Association. Live better, be humane. Choose American Humane Certified products.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Welcome back into Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Obviously, you're watching Strategies for Living today. Don't forget you can listen to us on the radio. It's where we began. News Radio 710 Keel, now on Sunday mornings, 9:05 to 10 every Sunday morning on News Radio 710 Keel, and every Wednesday in the Voices section of the Shreveport Times Welcome back into the television version of Strategies. Oh, don't forget the internet too, www.strategiesforliving.com. Welcome back into the television version of Strategies, and Dr. Ron Key, Dr. Jim Roach, and here we are today talking about Woody's Home for Veterans. You've hooked us, but you know, the thing is, if you go by Woody's Home for Veterans, 442 Jordan Street in Shreveport, you will be hooked.
You're hooked.
You're hooked. And so I challenge everyone. Woody's Home for Veterans, if you're looking for a cause, if you're looking for something to invest a little extra change in, $10 a month, $20 a month, $100 a month, whatever you got, go by and visit this place. It's a 501c3, so totally tax deductible. You won't find, folks, you will not find a more useful way to spend your charitable dollars. And check them out at www.wh4v.com.
And we're on Facebook, Woody's Home for Veterans.
Okay, all right, and so you can see some of what actually goes on there. But if people drop by, you'll give them tours.
Oh,
you'll introduce them to folks.
Yeah, just be warned that you'll fall in love with the guys.
Yeah, it's quite a and on YouTube later this week, there has been a new video produced. You don't even have to go by now. You watch that video. You're hooked.
Yeah, and he's seen the video.
Oh yeah.
You're hooked, and so YouTube later in the week, just type in Woody's Home for Veterans, and it'll come up.
Yeah, and it'll be on Facebook also. Hopefully by tomorrow.
All right, now Saturday, September the 26th, trying to raise $300,000 because home number 1, home number 2, almost full, 90% full, one bed. Need that. There's an empty lot next door. So you got 2 old homes now, and we know what old homes are to maintain.
1923.
So lots of money to maintain that. What you'd like to do is take that empty lot, buy that empty lot, build a state-of-the-art facility for home number 3, right?
We want, a single-story community resident.
Right.
Well, more like a assisted living, and want 24 beds, but the way it'd be laid out is we can add. So if we have another fundraiser 5 years from now when we're full again, that it can be added to versus having to keep. But we don't ever want to say whether I'm still living or not, whoever's running it.
We're full, we've got to turn you away. You don't ever want to do that.
Because the stats now, and talking earlier about the process that I'll have to go through, so many people from Enduring Freedom, Desert Storm, they're just now hitting, all their options have run out.
Right.
So we're starting to see actually a younger client. Back in 03, we see more Vietnam vets. There's still a couple of World War II vets.
Right.
And it was rare to get, Desert Storm and Enduring Freedom. Now that's who we see, is we're getting the 30 and 40-year-olds, whereas before we're getting the 60 and 70-year-old.
I don't want to put a pall on this, but because I look at this as, death is part of life. You've had some guys ask to come and spend their last days at Woody's.
Yeah, we've had 4 guys that have passed there. 2 passed. Well, one had actually 2 had a heart attack, but 2 had terminally ill diagnosis. And after they got to the hospital, they had hospice.
And they could have gone someplace.
Could have gone anywhere, but they
wanted to come home.
Yep, and VA provided hospice.
Right. And came into Woody's. Yeah, but they could have gone. The point is, they could have gone any place they wanted to after that. They chose to come home to Woody's.
Well, you want to be around people you love.
Yeah.
And people you know that care for you.
And for these guys, it's a sense of family that you formed there, and that they form with one another.
Yeah. Well, one of the guys had, the only family member he had left was a cousin lived outside Austin, and he was there for like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But I never met her. She was his fiduciary, but never met her, and she didn't come up for a funeral. So literally,
y'all were
and he treated us like family. We fuss at each other, we'd laugh, we'd cry.
Yeah.
But that's
who you were. Okay, so can a fundraiser like this, Jim, do $300,000 if it's successful?
You're not going to get the first one to do 300 grand because we're just now getting the word out of what we're doing on this type of fundraiser. We're hoping in this one right here to raise anywhere around $50,000, $60,000.
That would be a tremendous success.
That would be a tremendous success.
All right, now, Saturday, September the 26th, Las Palomas Sporting Range on Seven Pines Road in Benton, Louisiana. It's not too late.
No.
You're still accepting teams,
We'll
right?
take you at the gate. You got the time.
Okay, so if you show up, if you're a guy that just loves to do this and you show up, you don't have to have a team. You can just show up individually. You'll pair them with somebody.
We'll put you on a team because we got the individuals that are coming just by themselves, and we'll put them in a team group.
Okay.
But we also have food that's going to be at this facility. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have an auction. We're going to have
a heck of an auction.
Fine auction. Yeah. We've got a used motorhome that's in beautiful shape that's going to be auctioned off. We have a Harley Davidson that's a used Harley Davidson, but it's in beautiful shape. It's a vintage. We've got guns that we're going to raffle off and auction off. We'll still right to today. We'll take all the donations we can get on auction items.
Okay.
If they'll call the number, for the place there, and be glad to bring them to us, and we'll tend to them, and it's all deductible.
All right, so again, that's that 5013C. So if I donate a Harley Davidson motorcycle of some value, I can take it off my taxes. Yep. Wow.
And we also have a 4-day dove hunt to Bolivia, 3-day fishing trip to Costa Rica, and we got meals, tattoos,
4-day
massages,
4-day luxury trip, and 1 4-day fishing trip to Costa Rica. We have 2, and we can double those. And in other words, if we sell one and somebody else wants to buy one at that same price, we'll make it happen.
Make it happen. Wow.
But yeah, you don't have to shoot at all. Just come out at noon, 1, something like that. And we'll have a silent auction, but we'll also have a live auction too.
What time does the event, the shoot itself start?
We start accepting people at 7 o'clock in the morning. We start registering, getting everything going, because once you get, right now we have something like between 15, 18 teams that are there, 4 people per team. And we've done real well.
Do people come and watch? Is there a gallery of folks that come and watch this kind of stuff?
People come for the auction mostly and come to see it and just to have the fellowship.
Yeah.
The best thing to come for is your country.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the people that fought for it.
These guys are selfless. I mean, on your poster, you have greater love than this no man hath, that to lay down his life for his friends. But many of these guys, in spite of their problems today, they served every single one of us, and they served one another. They served this country.
The one thing I've learned out of this, David, and there's been multiple life lessons, but we tend to hear about the heroes. The guy that lost his arm, he comes back and he's a hero, and he should be.
Right.
But the guy comes back with the PTSD that was
How prevalent is that, Ron? How prevalent do we know? Do we know what percentage of people who have been in Afghanistan or Iraq come back with some form of PTSD?
I don't have the stats on that. I have the stats on how many come back with a mental health complaint.
Right.
And it's 47%.
Almost half.
Yep. Anywhere from depression to PTSD.
Right.
And the guys, and being a mental health professional, so many people, and why we don't have as many visitors, there's so much misinformation out there as to what a schizophrenic or bipolar. These guys are as loving as they can be, and they just want to be loved. So you're not going to be attacked, and he's not speaking to the
Martians. Let's talk about that for a second, because that's one of the other missions that Woody's accomplishes, and that is we don't, today, with psychiatric diagnoses and treatment the way it is, if these guys get their medicine on a regular basis, and that's one of the things that happens at Woody's, they get their medicine on a regular basis. If they get appropriate diagnosis and medication, these guys they're wonderful members of society.
And some are almost childlike, and everybody wants, in my belief, is to be loved and accepted.
Absolutely.
And and part of it is their history of the mental illness. So many people have bailed out, or they've run people off.
Right.
That whenever they do come back into the fold and can basically mainstream, as long as it's not extraordinary circumstances that trigger them, and change is the biggest one, is sometimes you don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the day-to-day management of stress that would be accomplished within Woody's, just in the environment between the staff and each other, I would imagine is miraculous for some of these guys.
Yeah, and
let alone the making sure they get their daily medication.
And we value, the guy that was a cook, he tends to downplay it.
Yeah.
But he may have been a cook for Special Forces.
Yeah.
Okay, what could Special Forces mission be if they're not being properly, fed and all that? So is that when you signed up, you gave them your soul, whether it's Special Forces or a cook, that it takes the team to fight the battle.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do, is be a team, to fight the battle for these guys.
And we need to be a team for these guys now. And so if you would like to be a part of the team, Woody's Home for Veterans Sporting Clay event, Saturday, September the 26th, Las Palomas Sporting Range in Benton, Louisiana. Show up at 7 o'clock. Just show up. Don't have to register ahead of time. Just come, right? Auction about noon.
About noon.
A lot of food, drink, fellowship, and drop by Woody's. Drop by Woody's Home for Veterans, 442 Jordan Street. Talk to Dr. Ron Key. He'll give you a tour anytime. Or you can go online, wh4v.com, and check out YouTube later this week. Woody's Home for Veterans. It's about a 7-minute video.
7 minute, and it is.
It tells the story, man.
And the gentleman who shot this happens to be Daddy's great nephew, and he's world class. I mean, his client list is, and he wanted to do this just to give a little bit back. And I'm proud of just, and you being in the media business, the quality of it's just amazing.
Absolutely. All right, Jim, I'm coming to you. Dr. Ron Key, thank you so much for coming and being a part of Strategies for Living. Folks, thank you for being a part of Strategies for Living. Don't forget to find us, News Radio 710 Keel, Sunday mornings between 9:05 and 10. Also in the Shreveport Times, Wednesday, Voices section, and www.strategiesforliving.com. Jim, take it away.
Woody's Home for Veterans, and that's a wrap.
All right. See you next time.